Dogs are in this.
Awesome. Let's see. We are doing the thing. It is pub day. Pub day, pub day, pub day. Cool. We are live on Facebook.
Yeah.
Hello, Montgomery. We'll wait for some people to log in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I know that we have members literally all over the globe. So totally let us know where you're tuning in from.
Yeah, we had to have the nation be part of this pub day. Tomorrow, there's a whole bunch of, we're going to be on radio, and I think there's some TV and all kinds of stuff. But we wanted to really celebrate our launch with you.
Yeah.
Because this is our book, all of us as part of Octo Nation.
Yeah, we have so many things that we're doing this month. We're flying to Mystic, Connecticut. Then we're flying to Long Beach, and then who knows what's left in store. I guess as people come in and pre-order the book and do all of those things, we will find out where we end up next.
That's right. And usually, one event begets another event, and that begets another event, and we'll let you know, of course, so that you can be part of it. But people are already part of this book. I mean, so many members of the nation contributed photographs that are in this book, and the book is full of knockout, gorgeous photos that haven't been published before, and a lot of them are yours.
Yeah, we really advocated for members of Octo Nation to be included in the book, and I'm excited today. On our Instagram, I'm posting for Pub Date a photo of one of our members, their photos in the book, and celebrating her because she's a photographer out in Australia, a younger photographer, and now she's going to have her photo in the hands of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
So
And which one is that, Lauren?
it's the one of the Maori octopus.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just double checking on our page to make sure that we're live, and we are. So that is all good. We have comments rolling in, and so that's pretty exciting. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna pull up comments as they're coming in. Let's see. Okay. Yes, we got New Hampshire, Ohio. Gary's here. Hey, Gary, what's going on? He's in Maine at college studying arthropods. You got Andrew. Love Andrew.
Andrew Hackett.
Yes, got Andrew.
Yeah, hi, Andrew.
And we got Suzanne Swank here. Ankit is in the house. And
awesome.
Yeah, got tons of people watching. So what we want to do today is just kind of like talk about, celebrate with you, celebrate the publication date. I was also going to say, for those of you who go to Secrets of the Octopus and you order today, what I was going to do is if you post in the comments after this live is over, if you publish your order receipt, make sure your address is not on it. If you publish your order receipt, I'm going to mail you one of our stickers, and this says Secrets of the Octopus, and it is a ruby octopus that is reading our book, which is this.
Everyone's reading it.
Everyone's reading it. All the octopuses are reading it. I don't know if you saw yesterday, Dr. Gregory, I think his last name's pronounced Barud. He runs Save the Nautilus, and he was just like, they're not Nautilus. He was just like, but he was just like, I'm reading the book to a Wonderpuss that he currently has.
Oh, wonderful!
It's like, that's cool.
That's great.
So yeah, so if you guys are watching and you pre-order today and post it in the comment section, I will DM you, get your address, and I'll mail you out one of these stickers. So we're all very excited about it. So Sai, so you've published, I mean, this is what, 38, 39 for you?
Yeah, I think it's 38. But this is so special, Warren, because, it's our book. This book really kind of belongs to the nation, and we write about Octave Nation in the introduction of the book. And it was our community, I think, that helped make Octopus the phenomenon that it is now and ushered in what we're calling the golden age of octopus research and octopus appreciation. Because when my first, that first book, Soul of an Octopus, that you read, that helped inspire you to start Octonation, when that was published, man, that was 2015, and you were like so lucky if you could find like a mug with an octopus on it. And if there was any news about octopus, that was like, wow, there's the octopus is actually in the newspaper. Well, now, every other month they're discovering like new species and recording new behaviors that were never seen before. And a lot of that is either being discovered by members of our nation, citizens of our nation, or the news is being spread and is being welcomed because of our nation. So I think we all have a lot to celebrate and be proud of. Secrets of the Octopus is really about all the new science that has happened since 2015 when The Soul of an Octopus was published. And it answers a lot of the questions that I had when I was getting to know the individual octopuses who I talk about in Soul. And among those are, why would an octopus want to spend time with me anyway? I kept wondering that because I'm only human.
Yeah.
But it now turns out, as folks will read in Secrets of the Octopus, that octopuses do form alliances not only with other octopuses, they are not as solitary as we thought, but they also form alliances sometimes to hunt with totally other taxa, totally non-octopuses. And this was not really suspected before. And to me, it's really thrilling.
The cool thing is on that same topic, what we've seen too is through members of the nation, because we have people from all over the world, and as you know, octopuses, they exist in every ocean. They're along every coastline, and so our members are on every coastline, and they're just all over the world. And so we've gotten beautiful footage that no one has ever seen before. I mentioned while we were on the news the day before, they found a frilled pygmy octopus that they had never gotten a video of. And one of our members from the nation got footage of that. And I was able immediately, the cool thing about our platform is that video was then seen by millions right after she sent it, because we have such a vibrant community of people that are just like, we want to see what's going on. And before, you have, and I'm fortunate we're working with, and Deneen sent me a National Geographic, I'm drinking my iced coffee out of it, National Geographic that is distributing this information far and wide. They mentioned, and I remember when I first saw it, my stomach dropped, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be big, which they're like, this is going to be in wherever books are sold. That's what I remember reading. Those three.
Yeah. Your name and our community. It is so awesome. And National Geographic, I'm 66 years old. When I was growing up, our family everyone got National Geographic in the 1960s. That was when Jane Goodall first went into the field. That was a National Geographic expedition. So many National Geographic scientists are household names today. So many of these folks we know about thanks to the society. And I had always thought, maybe one day I'll write for National Geographic. And now I have, and we're going to have a story in the magazine, I think in May, which is an excerpt from our book. And for me, it's a dream 66 years in the making, all because of the.
I didn't know that, Ty. This is going to be incredible. And so also in the back of the book, the cool thing, and just to give you kind of like a background, for those of you who are new to who I am, I've been obsessed with octopuses since I was 7. I saw one for the first time, and very similar to experiences that many have had. You know, you lock eyes with this creature and you think it's considering me just as much as I am considering it. And you can tell if you're a highly sensitive person or an empath or whatever you want to call yourself, somebody who's connected to animals, you can just tell there's something different. There's something special that's happening. And I remember running to the library, and Sai covers this in the book, and I'm so grateful for her to tell my story. Is that picture like this neurodivergent, autistic, ADHD, 7-year-old who was just like, I need to learn about this species. I need to create flashcards. I would make flashcards for everything, dog breeds, you name it. I was making flashcards for it because I loved, just taking in all information. And I remember Octopus was the one thing that I could not locate. I could not find in the library. And I was like, why does this creature not have more fanfare? Why does it not have more books? Why are there books on birds? There's books on, you have dinosaurs and they're not even alive. And yet you have these creatures that have been on these oceans, in these oceans for hundreds of millions of years where life began. And yet where is this fanfare? And it wasn't until Sai's book in 2015 that came out that gave me permission and inspired me, like many of you that are watching. It invited me into a world where I thought, oh, I can take part of this world. This is a world that I'm not kept out of. I don't need, necessarily to go to school for this. I can be curious and adaptable, just like an octopus. I can be intelligent. I can be resilient. I can do all of these things. And I remember being like, I'm going to create this new fan club, and I'm going to carry Sai's torch from the book into this digital space where we can reach everybody. And I just started reaching out to underwater photographers, artists, scientists, researchers, people that did octopus tattoos, people that did, everything. You have this artist up here, Victor Grasso, who's incredible. I have octopus art, all around the different species. And fast forward to today, we're over 1 million members. We post late breaking scientific discoveries. I've become somewhat of a species expert, having written thousands and thousands of posts for Octonation, and really was a liaison between you all, Octonation, and working with some of you and them at scale. And I've worked with so many of you who are watching. And so many of you have read the words, and now me and Sai, it's like a full circle moment. And it's really special for me because Sai is why everything started, and Sai is why I can reach you today. So
we met. You came to Boston. What month was that? It was in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And you came and you met Sai, the octopus. There was an octopus named after me, which was the greatest honor I think I've ever.
And I was shaking. I remember because I felt as if like I was meeting Taylor Swift or Beyonce, or I was like, I'm about to meet Sai Montgomery. And for those of you who are like animal people and feel the same way about Sai, imagine going to meet Sai Montgomery and being able to meet her namesake, Sai the octopus. And I didn't know what to buy her. I thought she has everything octopus. I was like I was in the New England gift store, or New England Aquarium gift store, and I was just like, what should I buy her? And then I found this pop-up card. I don't know if you remember.
Yes, I have it.
I found this like pop-up place that had this octopus, and I wrote, I was just like, I don't know, like I was just freaking out. And then I remember meeting you, and you were incredible.
And you met Wilson Menashe, who is no longer on this planet, but to whom the book is dedicated. He was the guy who designed these interlocking boxes to occupy the octopus's mind. Mm-hmm. And this was very early on. There's Wilson.
Yeah.
This was early on when he made those designs. That this was before there was an enrichment manual for octopuses. But keepers knew. Right. Keepers have known for decades and decades and decades how smart these animals are, how individual they are, and that they need something to occupy their time. And so he made these puzzle boxes that one would go inside the other, like Russian dolls, and each one had a different lock, and the last one had 2 locks. And Wilson, who had many patents to his name and was the designer who brought cubic zirconium to the American market.
Wow.
Brilliant guy. He was working for the octopus. And he was a major character in The Soul of an Octopus, and he would absolutely love this book. He would totally love it. And I know wherever he is, he's proud of our nation.
I mean, and it's right there in the first page dedicated to him. So, and I'm excited for those of you who are signed up. We're going to Mystic, Connecticut. We sold out. What's wild about the nation is we're so big now that literally within 12 hours we sold out of an event in Mystic, Connecticut. And we're about to have an event in at Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach. Those tickets have not gone on sale yet, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes those.
Yeah, when are we going to post? When is that going to be posted? Because I didn't even get a chance to post the Mystic Connecticut ticket link before it sold out. Now I feel really bad.
Well, I'm sure we're going to have many events to come.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's so much fun.
Yes, and what I really enjoy too is Sai and me get together and one, geek out, but we get to meet you. And I think the reason that these events are selling out so quickly is because, especially after this pandemic that we've had, I think people want to get out. They want to meet each other, and especially Octopus people. What I've learned about us as a whole, as running this for nearly 10 years, is that for the most part, what I've found is that people that are drawn to the Octopus have this remarkable ability to care about something. Like I don't know what I've told this to so many people, but it's like they can be detached from an ego enough to consider that there's a remarkable intelligence on this planet. And so because of that, they have this ability to connect with each other and other people and just have a more profound to me, and maybe I'm biased because I run the largest Octopus fan club, but this is just they're so generous, so caring, so curious for information. So like there's these core values that I feel like people that love the Octopus have. And it's been really, really great to see. But I was if you can see on my social media, I've been posting like, what are you supposed to do? Like on pub day, I don't know where to put myself. And so I remember I told Sai and I was like, what do you have tomorrow? And she was like, I don't think I have anything scheduled. And I was just like, we have to go live to the nation. Like we have to. And so for those of you who are just popping on and thinking, I didn't know this was happening. Like I just stumbled upon this.
Yeah, we just came up with it last night on the phone. We were chatting.
We're very adaptable, like an octopus. We threw this event up and are going live to you today. So for those of you who are watching the replay, you can still put that you pre-ordered the book. Let me know down below with your pre-order information, and I will mail you out a sticker. And so, yeah, let us know if you're celebrating with us, if you pre-ordered the book. For those of you who don't know, you can go to secretsoftheoctopus.com. And a little bit later, we're going to be showing a preview of Secrets of the Octopus, because I don't know, Sai, if you want to tell them about this TV series that is coming out, but it doesn't stop with this book. This octopus, this golden age of octopus research and fanfare is not stopping with the launch of this book.
National Geographic has a 3-part TV series that has the same 3 parts as the book. However, Warren and I we're not on screen. We're not involved in the film, but the film and the book are companions. And the main person, I got to meet Adam Geiger, who's the main filmmaker. He's from Australia. And to get the images that you'll see on this TV series that will start airing on Earth Day on Disney, the Disney Channel, because it's a National Geographic film. And as you may know, Disney bought National Geographic. So to get these images, he and his team used rebreathers that allow them to stay underwater for hours and hours and hours at a time, so that the octopuses that he was filming got used to him. He used essentially many of the techniques that Jane Goodall used with the chimpanzees that she studied. She didn't try to like hide from them and then steal glimpses. Instead, she went forward and showed them, I'm here, I'm harmless, I want you to feel comfortable around me. And because of this, the octopuses began to come out and do all kinds of natural behaviors in front of the camera that haven't been caught before. So the three parts of the film are the same as the three parts of the book, and one is about camouflage. And of course, we knew that octopuses could camouflage, but many people think that that just means that you become the same color as your background. And octopuses can do so much more, as you know. They can assume the body shapes and patterns of other creatures. They can even mimic the weather. There's a display called Passing Cloud. And now scientists are beginning to understand how octopuses accomplish this feat. And the second part of the series and the second part of the book is all about intelligence. And the title that I gave to that section was Gelatinous Geniuses. And there's so much new that's being discovered about their intelligence and what it feels like to be an octopus. And the third part is called Octopus Kingdom. And that is about their unexpected sociality that I was speaking about before, which to me is tremendously exciting because I'd always wondered, why did Octavia even want to be friends with me? Because I'm only human, and she's certainly, she doesn't want to eat me. Why would she want to reach out to another species? And it turns out that they do reach out to other octopuses of their own species in certain social arrangements, which no one knew about before, but they also will form alliances with animals like fish to go hunting, much like honey badgers or rattels do with birds called honey guides. And there's associations like that.
And I remember one of the quotes that we that was published for hundreds of years, if not, with Aristotle saying an octopus is a stupid creature, for it will approach man's hand if lowered in the water. And I remember that because I remember reading that as a kid and just being like, that's not what's going on. That's not the octopus's story. Like the octopus.
No. That's like saying the friendliest person in the party is real stupid.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, no. And I remember feeling so helpless because at the time, I didn't have Octonation. And so I didn't have sort of like the backing of all the support of being like, no, we need to rewrite the stories of these creatures. These creatures are magnificent. Like they're not, even at the time, there was like, they were misunderstood. They were misrepresented. They were considered aliens, and I was like, if anything, they're super terrestrial. They've been on this planet since it began. We're just a blip on the radar as it relates to life on this planet. And one of my favorite pages, and then I'll let you continue with the series, is this: From Monster to Superhero, right? Because that kind of represents how I've been profiling them for the past 9 years, is that there are superheroes of the sea. They have different superpowers that allow them to thrive in every ocean environment. Like, and I mentioned like the blanket octopus that, has this 6-foot iridescent cape that is like, she spends her whole entire life floating through the open ocean. And when she needs to lay eggs, a male, comes to her on like a jellyfish or a salp and mates with her, and then she sprouts these biological stalks out of her body made of calcium carbonate, and she attaches them. She braids them and attaches them to that stalk. And I just think, like, she's figured it out. She's figured out how to live her life in the open ocean and survive for hundreds of millions of years. And there's something to be said about that resiliency. And I try to capture that every single time I write about any one of these species of octopuses, is we're not talking about a creature that's new here. We're talking about a creature that has managed to figure out its environment. So when we talk about intelligence and all these interviews together, me and Sai are always kind of shocked by that question, because we're like, I think, Sai, you've mentioned it, like, can your severed arm change colors?
Yeah, right, exactly. Octopuses could ask us, like, how intelligent is that human? Well, let's see how many different colors their severed arm can turn in 1/5 of a second. Yeah. And concluding it was 0, think that we were totally flatlining.
Yeah. So I just, profiling them at the end of this book was a real treat for me, because there are 16 different species profiles. We do include 2 cuttlefish in the book.
Couldn't resist.
2 cuttles. We got 2 cuttles in there, but there are 300. And there's probably thousands. What we've learned from Schmidt Ocean Institute and MBARI, Monterey Bay Research Institute, is that they're discovering new species. They're the scientists are hard at work on ROVs and out there. Yeah, there's the blanket octopus.
Blanket octopus. I wonder, would you indulge us and read just a little from one of your octo profiles?
Sure, I'll do that.
I would love to hear you read it in your voice. There is going to be an audiobook. We haven't recorded it yet, but it is going to be a part of the reason it's not here yet is that, when Disney bought National Geographic, things got a little bollocksed up, but were delayed. But there is going to be an audio version as well.
Well, I know that Disney is super excited about it too. They are actually flying me out to Disneyland on the 13th and I think the 14th of April, and we're recording some really cool stuff that's going to be for Earth Day. So I'm looking forward to that. Everybody's really, I have to say that, like, the team that we've been working with at Nat Geo, this is probably the most enthusiastic, most professional, most supportive, most,
and numerous. There's a lot of people helping us get the word out. Every time we have an email from them, it's 14 people. You feel so supported.
Yeah. And so I've just been kind of blown away with, I feel like, when it comes to Soul of an Octopus, I feel like nobody knew that book, and you mentioned that, you'd published this book and had no idea that it was going to be a phenomenon across the globe, and that it was going to be translated into multiple different languages and sold all over the world. And I feel like with this one too, there's something special here with the team that's involved with, I just saw the Japanese cover. So they're already, translating it into certain languages. I don't know if I can announce that yet, but it's already happening. Yeah, it's already happening. And so, look forward to seeing it. But which one should I read, Sai?
Boy, what's so cool? The hairy octopus is pretty amazing.
Okay,
they're all amazing.
Let's do the hairy octopus, because the hairy octopus is one that I advocated for this book, because the cool thing about this is if you even Google hairy octopus, if you Google hairy octopus, our Octonation profile pops up as #1 for this species, tiny hairy octopus. And this species has yet to be officially described. And that's, scientific terms means nobody knows what to call this thing, or they haven't really looked into it because maybe they haven't had the time. And they're so hard to find, in our oceans. They're literally like the size of your fingernail, and they look like a pom-pom ball in the ocean. And what's funny, and it kind of represents, my life from the standpoint of just ease and calm collectedness, is instead of using really jet propulsion at all, they kind of wait for an ocean current to come by, and they just kind of hop up into the ocean current, and they're like, I'm going wherever this current's taking me, because their job is to not look like an octopus. And so I always felt like this species, that, and I have a hairy chest, so that's another thing. So I was just and what's cool is that our members from the nation actually came up with this name, because we post and we asked you, what would you nickname this species? And we always get hundreds and hundreds of comments. And my favorite for this species was the Chewbactopus.
I love that.
A Chewbacca octopus, but it's like a mini squishy Chewbacca octopus. So I'll
hold up and you do the dramatic reading.
Okay, cool. This is going to be my first.
Wait, gosh, it's there we go.
This is going to be my first dramatic reading.
Yeah.
So let me find it.
I know the page numbers, they don't have the page numbers. It's after the Argonaut.
Okay, cool. So hairy octopus, and it says scientific name yet to be officially described. And I say, the tiny peculiar hairy octopus resides amid the muck of fine rubble, small shells, rocks, and broken coral that scatters the seabed. covered with delicate hairs called papillae, the body sways with the ebb and flow of ocean currents. At just 2 inches, 5 centimeters long, this fuzzy critter is a pro at seamlessly merging with its environment. The hairy octopus moves through the water by riding the ocean's surging currents. It waits for the current to pull in the desired direction before hitching a ride and gliding to the next location. It can use its siphon to propel itself through the water too, but the stealthier current-powered approach conserves energy and maintains the octopus's camouflage. It appears to be nothing more than a bundle of plant matter, an ocean tumbleweed. With its chameleonic ability to change colors from white to cream, brown to red, and all the shades in between, the hairy octopus is a master at camouflage, often nearly indistinguishable from a tuft of algae floating on the ocean floor. Hypnotic white flashes radiate around the eyes of the hairy octopus, distinctive but as yet unexplained by science. Perhaps this captivating display serves as a dual purpose, both as a tactic to intimidate predators as well as an effect to stun unsuspecting prey. Given that the hairy octopus is a relatively recent discovery among cephalopod species, there is still much to uncover about its biology and behavior. This paperclip-sized creature reminds us of the vast unknowns within the ocean and the importance of continued exploration to better understand the fascinating creatures that inhabit our planet.
Fabulous. It's fabulous.
Yes. And so, I mean, the hairy octopus is just like one example of so many untold stories. And I wanted to include it to inspire maybe young Warren or a young child out there that's reading this book to be like, there's still so much left. And way past me and Sai, being gone, there's still, I hope somebody discovers this book in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, and is just like, I'm going to pick up where they left off. There's so much left to be uncovered here. So
in the book, you'll read about the researchers, some of the fabulous researchers that are making these discoveries, some of whom were not initially believed because they were so fantastic or fabulous. Chrissy Hufford, for example, has been working on octopus from California for many years. And when she discovered an octopus who walks on its arms as if they are legs, looks exactly like, a commuter walking to the train, no one even wanted to hear about it. Another researcher, whose last name was, I may butcher the name, Rodinashi, he discovered the larger Pacific striped octopus.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a species of octopus that was discovered and then ignored for decades. No one believed it. It lived communally in large groups. It was a beautiful animal. And he had them in captivity. He had excellent observations of them, but either no one believed him because he was actually a doctor, he was not a marine biologist, or no one thought octopuses were all that interesting. But before he died, his discovery was, in fact, announced, and he was given credit. There's now a lesser Pacific striped octopus species also described, which is similar, that lives in large groups, and the males and females appear to have lasting relationships, which was unheard of in octopuses. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous animal.
What I like about that species too is that they mate beak to beak.
Yes, I know. It's so dear. But it's also a very vulnerable position to mate in, because your beak is, that's how you deliver your venom,
Yeah. My thing, and I believe we have an Octonation member who reached out to us. She is a science communicator, last name Castleberry, and she mentioned that she wants to tell that researcher's story, because I believe we're coming up on what is like a big moment for that researcher. And so she said that she'd like to cover it, and so we're going to bring her on and hire her to tell that story.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, because she was just like, this is, she's so passionate about it. And the cool thing about Octonation is that, we're a nonprofit organization. And so science communicators that come to us, and pitch us their stories, oftentimes we can hire them to write for our blog. And so if you've seen over the past years, our blog has really taken off. And when you like Google certain things like octopus suckers or whatever, we have some of our science writers that appear number one. They're the first thing that you see on Google. And it was our goal to become the gold standard of octopus, information, because one of the things that we've discovered, even through, working with National Geographic in this book, is that there's so many different species of octopuses. And for the longest time, underwater photographers, they didn't really have a resource in which they could go to identify certain species. There was no Octopedia. It didn't exist. They would ask their friends, they would ask their dive guides, they would ask whatever. But if they were misinformed, then they would just post, hey, this is a blanket octopus, or this is a California 2-spot, when it was really an Octopus vulgaris. And so there's so many images online of misidentified species. I remember, as somebody with autism, you can probably relate to this if you're out there and you're neurodivergent. But when you see things that are wrong, you want to be like, this is wrong. This is wrong. Like, I can't handle this. So for the first 2 years of Octonation, I remember going on Instagram, and some of the photographers probably remember me, is I would reach out to people and be like, hey, this is a California 2-spot octopus, or hey, this isn't a blue ring, this is a poison ocelot octopus, or hey, this isn't a vulgaris, this is an insularis. Like, just all these different things. This isn't a mimic, this is a wonderpuss. And so I spent, I wasn't trolling, I wasn't octo trolling, but I was just letting them know, like, hey, correct this. And then I was just like, wait a minute, this is I need to create the resource. And so I think after 2 or 3 years, that's when I founded the nonprofit. Prior to that, I was self-funding everything. I was just paying for it. Because I wanted it to be in existence so bad, and I didn't believe that anybody would really support it, until every day everybody was asking me, hey, how do I support Octonation? And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I'm a middle child of 7. I don't ask for help like normally. And so finally we founded the nonprofit, and then soon after, Octopedia was funded and we could start funding species profiles. And so in those species profiles, we talk about identifying features, and we talk about how to identify a day octopus. It has a false eye spot and then rows of dots along its arms. A wonderpuss has no line above its suckers. It's on longer eye stalks, And so it's just been really fun to become, I guess, over this past 10 years, kind of like a species expert as it relates to octopuses. And Sai says that I'm like a living, breathing Octopedia.
You are. Oh my God, with 9 brains and 8 arms too, because this guy gets so much done so quickly. But your point there of identifying and misidentifying species, you can sure see how it's so difficult, even for scientists, to identify species. And in the camouflage section, we write about how the most common octopus, Octopus vulgaris, was thought since it was named, that every Octopus vulgaris was an Octopus vulgaris, but a lot of them, it turns out, are not. And one of the people who discovered that, Tatiana Leite of Brazil, who's a good friend of mine, she discovered that many octopuses, and perhaps all, have a distinctive pattern that only they can do. And this was wonderful as a discovery, because for one thing, the way you used to identify them was you took them out of the water and you killed them.
Yeah.
And froze them or stuck them in formalin and then measured them, et cetera, et cetera. And she loved octopuses. She didn't want to kill them. And the octopuses that she was measuring, which were supposed to be vulgaris, the measurements just weren't, they weren't totaling up. And her advisor, her academic advisor, thought she was messing it up, that she was doing it all wrong, and like, no, do it this way. Well, she one day decided, you know what, I'm going to go to, I think it was Spain, where she was going to look at the Octopus vulgaris that live there. And when she saw the live animals in an aquarium, She knew these were not the same live animals that she was seeing off the coast of Brazil. And you could only tell with a live octopus. So I love her story, not only because she discovered a way to tell apart different species of animals who by nature change color and shape, but she also did it in a way that causes fewer animals to be killed in the name of science.
The cool thing that I've like, I mean, I feel like Sai and I could be on for like literally 5 hours as it relates to the amount of influence, the amount of creativity that this community has. I mean, from Kari Barba, who does realistic octopus tattoos, who's a legend like in her space, to Victor Grasso up here, another artist, to researchers like CE, Shades.
Yeah, CEO Brian.
Yeah, and just incredible Chelsea, who's in the book. She's our scientific advisor for Octonation. Chris, who is the one who came on board and did Octonation's rebrand. So if you're curious about like our logo, like these logos right here, I remember discovering him on an Instagram live, and he was doing he was drawing an image of like an octopus that had donuts, and I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, is this because an octopus had a donut shaped brain? And it was funny because he was like, no, bro, I just like donuts. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is such a great joke. Or this is perfect because an octopus has a donut shaped brain. He was like, no, it's not that deep. I remember calling him and just telling him I really enjoyed his work, and he was just like, do you have a logo? And we got to talking and we became friends. And then shortly thereafter, we always say like, as far as Octonation and our daily lives are concerned with running the organization, me, Chelsea, and Chris are kind of like the three hearts of Octonation from the standpoint of we're in a group chat together every single day. And I remember every single one of these, like this sticker right here. What I wanted as a kid, because I don't know if you remember, Sai, and you mentioned this in the book. You say, like, prior to Soul of an Octopus, like you could barely find like an octopus mug. You couldn't find all that much as it related to that. And then afterwards, all of a sudden, bam, like it starts to become everywhere. And then as Octonation came through, it was just like we kind of like redid the way people even thought about like octopus merch. And so what we were thinking, because I couldn't stand octopuses that were not anatomically correct.
Oh yeah, the ones that have the eyes on the mantle that drive you nuts. It's like, no, you don't have to be autistic. No.
They're cute for kids. Like I completely get it, but there's just something that's deep down inside of me that wants to celebrate the way that the creature looks.
That's right. Nothing wrong with the way it actually looks. Why not show it that way?
And I remember talking to toy manufacturers when I started Octonation. I said, I don't get it. Why isn't there an octopus toy that has horizontal pupils? Like, it's one of their superpowers. They have nearly 360-degree vision around their whole entire bodies. And I was like, why would you take the octopus's one of their biggest strengths and make them circular? And later, my scientific advisor, Chelsea, said, she was like, Warren, their eyes can go circular. She's like, the nighttime species, their eyes completely ball up into a circle. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, but their resting state is normally like this horizontal bar. And I was just like, and so I talked to my manufacturers and they said, well, parents think that it looks demonic.
As if like, we know what the devil looks like, that's also hilarious.
I was like, what?
This thing that really exists looks too much like this thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and it was just like, they think it looks evil. They think it looks malicious. And I was like, well, then why are you not educating them that it's not malicious? It's not evil. It's just how they look. And
how many devils have you met? Well, Tasmanian devils. But Tasmanian devils, who aren't the only devil that I've seen on Earth, they actually have round pupils.
So I was just like, we have to fix this. And I remember like when I first started, I was like, I have no background in any of this. Like, I'm not a nonprofit like leader or executive. I'm not like a marine biologist. I'm not, but I remember after reading your book, I was just like, that does not mean, and for those of you who are watching, that it doesn't even make sense how obsessed you are with octopuses and you want to be a part of something. You're a part of Octonation. I hope this gives you permission that like in 10 years and you can accomplish so much, and you can now with the internet, the World Wide Web is, you can, I sounded, I was dating myself, the World Wide Web just then. But you can go out and you can self-study, and hopefully as we develop Octonation out, we'll have a university of what we can create and what we can accomplish together, and in a more a way that gets people inspired. And what I've learned just about starting Octonation, it being like 9 years now, is that people wanted to love the octopus, but they didn't understand where they fit in. They didn't understand how similar we were. And so, it took writing about them in a way that was like, we're about to watch a clip of Dr. Alex Schnell in the new series, Secrets of the Octopus, that's coming out this next month. And she talks about how octopuses clean themselves, and they kind of like take their arms and they have this outer layer on their suckers called like a chitinous cuticle. It's very similar to like how our nails are. And so I talk about how the octopus gives themselves manicures, like they have a spa day. And if they want to improve their taste, if they want to improve their grip on objects, they just have a spa day. They give themselves a manicure and they enter this self-wash mode where they just kind of like take off that outer layer of sucker and they shed it off. And then all of a sudden they can taste, like they're like, this tastes, I can taste this now, or, ooh, I can grip this easier. I'm not losing my grasp of it. And it took talking about octopuses like that for people to be like, hey, wait a minute, I get manicures. I want to look more into this, and inviting them in to something that they could be a part of and that they could talk about to their friends and their family. And I think that's what it takes. And so I think if you're reading this and you're wanting to write about it, if you're wanting to tell your friends and family, I think this book is a great way to kind of reintroduce a way to talk about the octopus in a way that's fun for you and that makes sense for you. So really excited.
Well, I'm excited about seeing the clips with you.
Yes.
Because I've seen what's online, and I've seen stuff on Adam's laptop, but I'm dying to see it with our.
So let's watch these clips, and as we're watching these, Nation, put your questions for Sai and I in the comments. I'm reading them. I'm getting all of your messages. Alicia Don, she said, it's true, they're so misrepresented. Denise said, I just ordered the book. You're my favorite author, and now you're covering our favorite thing on earth, the octopus. And then Denise also said, you must be going crazy with all the incorrect AI images coming out. They drive me crazy. So the thing about the AI images with me is that they were trained on all the images of octopuses on the internet. And unfortunately, there's more images of octopuses on the internet that are on plates. And so you have a lot of boiled octopus arm photos. And so you see those that are
at their best when they've been boiled.
Yeah. So you see that relayed in these AI images where you see these suckers that are very closed off, and you see things that if you are an octopus keeper, you kind of get triggered by, from the standpoint of if you see arms that are coiled at the end, it typically means an octopus is going through senescence and that it's its last days. And so when an octopus keeper or an octopus, an aquarist husbandry sees it, they go, ugh, it's not good for them. They're like, I don't want to lose this creature. And for people like me that see octopuses with the suckers on the other side of the arm, it just drives me insane. So, but yes, Denise, you are correct. So as we're watching this, watch these clips with me and Sai and I. Maybe some of you haven't ever seen these. And if you have any questions about octopuses, if you have any questions about this book that's available today is pub day, let us know. And also, if you order today and you put your order confirmation in the chat, I will mail you a sticker of an octopus reading our book. So let us pull this up, and I'm going to hide that, and we'll show these clips. Do, 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 do. Bam. Ready?
Mm.
How do you find a creature that can blend in against any background?
They're the most mysterious creatures on Earth. They're masterminds, shapeshifters. They're just so incredibly alien. And yet, more like us than we ever could have imagined.
They're as curious about you as you are about them. It just felt like magic. Every encounter with an octopus feels like a really intimate moment.
What more do they have to tell us?
So
I could not.
With Nurtec ODT,
Oh,
I can treat
what's
a migraine when it strikes and
Hey, what's up?
Oh,
What's up, Gaga? I
I need to know.
could not sleep. I know Dr. Alex Chanel because she's friends of mine and she's a member of Octonation. I couldn't sleep the night that that came out. I was so excited that I think I was most excited about the fact that there's going to be behaviors that nobody has ever seen because of the way that they shot this with rebreathers. And like you had mentioned before, I mean, some of the most high quality footage. And James Cameron, who is producing one of the most expensive probably movies of all time, Avatar right now, took a break from filming Avatar to produce Secrets of the Octopus, to film our underwater avatars, right? And so I think it's a testament to how, like, even this book, when our event sold out in like less than 12 hours, and then at Aquarium of the Pacific, we'll post that event. But I think that something special is happening with all of this. And I'm so glad that I'm a part of it and Octonation is a part of it.
I love being able to see this with a nation. And you have another clip, right?
Yes, I have one more
Oh,
clip.
this is so awesome. This is something that Warren was just talking about a little earlier.
So this is something that they just released. And so this is kind of like, it's not an exclusive because it's also on their page, but it's going to be exclusive to a lot of you because I haven't really seen the whole entire clip. And so really excited to watch this now. So here's this one.
The octopus sizes Alex up.
She's not really sure about me at the beginning, but we're eye to eye. And her skin becomes smooth as if to reveal herself. She becomes so relaxed that she starts to clean herself. Covering her eyes, even though I'm right in front of her. And maybe that's a sign that she's beginning to trust me. When she reached out her arm and put her suckers on my hand, it just felt like a life-changing moment. And then she turns to look at me as if to say, "Are you coming?"
Why am I crying?
Oh
And are we the pinnacle of evolution?
Uh,
Oh my God, I can't wait for it to come out. I'm so
oh, me
excited.
neither. And that particular clip, it's very similar to what I felt in captivity when I got to know my first octopus, Athena, and when I got to know my very dear friend, who would become my friend for years, Octavia. Because when someone like that reaches out to you, and you had to have felt this too, you felt so many octopuses now, Warren, but when you met Sai, didn't you feel that same? You just feel so honored. You feel so chosen. You feel trusted when this gelatinous creature with whom you last shared a common ancestor 500,000,000 years ago reaches across that 500,000,000 year gap
Mhm.
and touches your hand. It feels momentous, and it feels as if you're closing a chasm that has separated us from the rest of animate creation for far too long.
Mhm. Yeah, there's something there. I can't. And for those of you who are watching, I mean, if you've ever experienced this too, um, it's. I remember looking in the eyes and just being like, "What?" Like, there's like this ancient intelligence, that I don't think that we've even come close to understanding. I mean, I know we haven't, because scientists are actively working on figuring this stuff out. I mean, I remember when they learned that they can edit their RNA while they're alive. Um, just change their RNA, like figure it out. Like they have really figured it out, and so this actually goes into, yeah, we're all crying. Yeah, I'm gonna that scene, and Dr. Alex, the reason again, going back to this team being iconic, is she writes the foreword. Like the person that you just saw in that clip wrote the foreword to this book. And so this is our World Series. This is our Olympics. This is our Eras Tour. This is like for the Octopus. This is like everything for us. And it's all happening today on Pub Day and on 421 and beyond. And I hope, this is what I hope for everybody in Octo Nation. And I told this to Caspa, who has she's a young photographer in Australia. I said, this is just the beginning for you, like your book, like your image being shown in this book. There's so much left. And I was just like, I really hope this creates a surge in licenses for all these photographers that, for people like Kari Barbara or people that do octopus arts, I hope this creates a new market, a new wave of a way to support yourself as a creator, as an artist, as a researcher, as a photographer, as whatever, however you see yourself in this community. And so, Sai, I want to give you this question because Julie from the Nation said, "I'm so excited to get your book. I already ordered it. Should arrive today." That's exciting. It's funny. I ordered mine because I ordered it off Amazon because like I just wanted to see the fact that I ordered it. I don't know. I ordered it from a lot of different places already, and it's my book. But I was just like, I want to support Octo Nation. I want to support like this movement that we're creating. I want to order it in like every language that it's in. I want to collect all of them. Like I said, I saw the jacket to the Japanese cover. It's incredible. But Julie says, I'm so excited by your book. Should arrive today. What is the one thing I can do to help Octopus?
Do everything you can to help the oceans. That's what I would say. I mean, they're in all of our oceans. They are benthic creatures in the deep. They inhabit the shallows. And our oceans are under siege from every possible quarter. Climate change is acidifying the ocean. A lot of mollusks, of which octopuses are one, are having a terrible time. Climate change acidifying our oceans is like dissolving their shells. Of course, octopuses don't have shells, but they are fellow mollusks. By 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. So anything you can do to urge others to not take home these horrific single-use plastic bags. Many towns have tried to outlaw them, and sometimes the state governments prevent towns from outlawing these things because of the plastics industry handing money over to these dishonest politicians. Anything you can do to protect the ocean, from what you buy to how you vote to what you drive to what you eat, can make a difference, and it'll make a difference for octopuses. What would you say, Warren?
So I've read hundreds of thousands of comments from members of the nation, feeling the same sentiment, and I always go for what's most sustainable to you, what lights you up, what's going to be something that you feel committed to doing sustainably. And so for me, my thing was never to talk about animal rights or to talk about even when it comes to plastics. There are people that are doing that. There are people that are spreading that information. What I could commit to was inspiring wonder of the ocean by educating the world about octopuses. And so I created Octonation. But there are plenty of people that do it through creating crochet octopuses and selling them and telling people to follow Octonation or telling them about octopus facts. And in that way, they're making a difference. There are people that talk about the octopus as they're tattooing an octopus on someone's body. And in that way, they're connecting that creature to that person and establishing context to why it all matters. And so for me, it's really, it comes down to you and what lights you up and what you specifically care about. If you are passionate about the animal rights and what's going on right now in the Canary Islands with octopus farms, and that's wrong to you, and you should go after that, and you should start there. If you're on the inspiring wonder side, and writing about different species, I'm not the only person that can do this work. Like, there are plenty of science communicators that are doing an amazing job. Meg, she's known Invertebrate. She is on Instagram. She is on TikTok. There are so many young science communicators that are called enviro talkers, like talkers, but for the environment, that are all doing it in their own way. And so I think you have to kind of like ask yourself, what am I committed to and what can I do sustainably that's not going to also make me spiteful or hateful or resentful of the world too. Because I feel like at the end of the day, you have to protect your peace and do things that, again, light you up. And so I would say that it's different for everybody. There's not one thing. How I'm committed to doing this is by giving people context as to why it all matters. And so I think what I've heard from kids, Thurber wants to go out. I can already tell.
Yeah, it's
I can tell. So it's the thing with animals. So with her,
she's pretty calm right now.
She's pretty calm, but she wasn't. She was down there and she was just like, "Are you done yet?" It's been
I saw her doing that.
an hour. And so I told her to come on the bed, and I was like, "I'm almost finished." And she was like, "Okay, I'll be here, but you have to like touch me." And and so she's cool, but she's close to her limit. So we're gonna jump off and do all of the things that we need to do for the rest of the day. We really enjoyed hanging out with you today, but just to put a end cap on that last bit, I think that by getting the book for somebody that you love, a friend or a family member, the way that we talk about the octopus in this book is in a way that's very approachable, and that's what we've heard from all of the advanced reader copy reviewers on like Goodreads, is that it's approachable, it's fun, it's informative, and at least it opens up the doors to them wanting to learn about more species. And I think when you do that, when you establish a curiosity or a spark in someone, they will go off and they will figure out at what point, like, how do they want to operate with an Octonation. We just had somebody that said, education is so important. My son at 6 years old had an argument with his karate teacher that it's not octopi, it's octopuses. He loves correcting people in his school and talk about them. Now he is 9 and loves them. That is me too. Sai said that on national television to the TV hosts.
Yes. They'd automatically, you're in with the octopus scientists if you know it is not octopi
Yes.
Wall Street. Uh,
And Denise said, don't release helium balloons. Don't wear sunblock with harmful chemicals. Reduce, reuse, recycle. So again, like if that's something you want to go to, it's like figuring out how do you weave that messaging also into something that establishes ocean literacy or the context as to why it's important. This is kind of what I've taught when I've taught people how to use social media. I've taught a lot of science communicators how to use social media to affect change. And it's not enough to tell people not to do something. You can't just say, stop doing this. Because when you do that, they're like, well, screw you. I'm not going to stop doing this. But if you weave in, wonder, or if you weave in what's at stake, or you weave in, this book, tell them to read Secrets of the Octopus and how these creatures have been on this planet since before dinosaurs. And we should look to them, for information and all these different things. Then they'll start the process. I remember my brother being like, why do you care about octopuses? Like, are they even going extinct? And that just shows you like how we were raised, how a generation was raised was we only care about animals when they're going extinct. They're not to be cared about or even thought about when they're thriving. Why would we care? And so that just goes to show you that there's still so much kind of like unlearning and relearning we have to do about how we even consider fundraising or nonprofits moving forward. It's like you have to establish that ocean literacy. Jamie said, I'm writing a picture book about octopus and an owl. Totally fictional, but it'll be peppered with facts. My octopus will have horizontal pupils. Is there an octopus species that can be found in the tidal pools of Maine, New England? Also, can't wait to see you in Connecticut.
Oh, great. You'll be there. Awesome.
Yes. Jamie Campbell will be there for sure.
Yay. Introduce yourself.
Jamie. Is there an octopus species that can be found in the tidal pools of Maine and New England? I believe isn't the cold water species like the giant Pacific octopus are out that way?
Well, the giant Pacific is in the Pacific.
Okay.
Oddly. Gosh, I've never gotten to see one in the northern Atlantic, but boy, I'd love to go. I would love to see one.
Well, we'll put underneath this comment, we'll put different species that are located specifically in that area. I know New England Aquarium talks about them all the time. There's most likely, common octopus or Octopus vulgaris managed to find themselves pretty much distributed all over the world. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're there. And what's really interesting, another interesting fact about Octonation is the fact that our underwater photographers are finding species like, yes, it's the giant Pacific octopus, but to your point, Sai, they're finding species that shouldn't be in certain places in certain places. So, they're finding like blue ring octopuses in Japan. They're finding like all these different species in places where there's like, we've never seen this species in this location before. And maybe it's a different species.
Right. Just like vulgaris turns out not to be vulgaris all the time. And as you said, giant Pacific octopus, there's two kinds of those guys.
Yeah.
David Scheel and one of his students discovered there's this other octopus that looks pretty much exactly like the giant Pacific octopus, but the papillae over the eye has like a tine on it, almost like a yearling buck and his antlers. Mm-hmm. Which of course is not erected all the time, but sometimes they erect it, and then you're like, wow, this is a different species.
Yeah, it's like the frilled giant Pacific. There's I'm sure there's a lot more. And Megan Holst, she's another scientist that is a member of Octonation, studied senescence in aquaria so that they could improve like their handbooks on how they take care of them.
Oh, I'm so glad. Oh.
Yeah, so there's just so many members that are part of Octonation that are doing great research that they can share within the network of Octonation. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why, that connection also is why we've seen like a surge in this golden age of octopus research is a lot of these young scientists. And there's a conference coming up, Ceph NeuroCon, that's happening. And I created a group chat on Instagram, and I added in all of these young scientists that are in there that are going to this convention together, so that they can meet each other prior to going there, so that when they're there, they can like really get to know each other, and that they can form relationships and do science communication together, and do, you know, collaborations on social media together. Because literally, like, you're not alone. If you're passionate about this and want to see this community grow and see this book do well, there's all of us, and we're all here together. So you're a part of something really cool, and we're excited to see where this book takes me and Sai and all of the underwater photographers and the scientists that are in this book, and the scientists that we've yet to be introduced to. Just so incredibly grateful to be on this journey with you, Sai.
Well, cheers. Here's to you.
Cheers.
And thank you, everybody, for being with us today. This was the best way we could think of to celebrate our pug day.
For sure. We're going to go take out our puppies because they deserve to be run outside.
Yes.
Well.
My guy had given up and he left.
But I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Keep your questions coming. I'll be in the comment sections answering some of your questions. And don't forget, if you ordered this book today, put your order receipt in the caption below, and I will mail you out one of these stickers on me from the nation. And that's about it. I hope you guys have a great day. And my dog knows when I say bye.
She knows.
Yes. Everybody have a great day, and we will all meet soon. Bye, everyone.